G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm reviewing the Jaecoo J7 all-wheel drive and the Jaecoo J7 two-wheel drive SHS variants, which you can see here behind me. I've just been driving these two cars up and down the New South Wales coast for the last couple of days, and in this video I'm going to take you through everything I've learned, my experience with the vehicles, on-road and off-road, and give you everything you need to know if you're thinking about buying this car. Let's go. Today I'm sitting in a Jaecoo J7 all-wheel drive hybrid vehicle, which I'm about to take on a 2-day trip up the coast. And yeah, I've literally just sat in it for the first time, just getting on the mirror sorted and everything like that. I thought I'd give me my first impressions ahead of a review of what this vehicle is going to offer Australians. So interesting dash. Obviously the screen's the big dominator here. Look at that, it's huge. Portrait shaped. Looks like everything is more or less on that. There's no analog dials of any sort that I can really see. He had some really interesting engine tech that he just gave us a little briefing on, but I'll have to dive into that a bit deeper once I got a chance to chat to him at lunch, because he went through it really quickly. But yeah, so it's all digital pretty much. You still got your heads-up display, which is good. I do always prefer to have my information right in front of me rather than having to move my eyes like this constantly. Visibility at the front is solid. Like that, this thing's not taking up too much space. Oh, it's beeping at me. I think it's asking me if I want to keep staying idle because the engine's on. But yeah, visibility at the front is pretty good. But if you have a look in the rear vision mirror, there I am. I mean, it's not too much visibility at the back. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. So this is the top spec. I think it's called the Ridge. I was just saying. There's a front wheel drive, and the top spec of that's called the Summit, and the all wheel drive, the top is called the Ridge. So you got all the nice trim and all the extra features. It's all programmable seats. A couple of different drive modes here by the looks of it. I think they said it's on Eco, so I'll fiddle around with that on the drive up there. Yeah, a little phone spot there. A couple of drink holders. Another drink holder down here. Or at least it fits it. It doesn't look like it's a full drink holder, is it? Not really. Fits it. Interesting look at the side mirror. I don't know if you can see, but that was the extent that it went. I couldn't get it to go any wider than that. And that's a lot more, showing a lot more car than I'd normally have. So I'll see if that's an ongoing issue or not, or whether I've just done it wrong. Just seeing the car for the first time. But pretty basic, really. Like, there's not a whole lot going on. I just got out of a Prado 250 series I've been reviewing, and there's so many buttons and toggles, it's unbelievable. This is just seems really stripped back. Not necessarily a bad thing. What do we got up here? We've got a sunroof. It's top of the line. We'll have a sunroof. It's raining at the moment, but we'll try that out a bit later. Looks like there's a good amount of room in the seat in the back. I'll get in there later on, but really high roof, which is great. Look at that sunroof, goes all the way back too. That's awesome. Boot doesn't look massive. We'll get a closer look later. A nice leather finish anyway. Out in here. Oh, sweet. They've got this thing actually built in. Oh, I love this. And so it's a really simple thing, but just having that surface one, I actually ended up buying these for each of my cars because they don't supply them. Other than that, yeah, pretty simplistic design, not too much going on, but well, now we'll see how it drives. Some storage down there. Oh, it's decent sized storage. I fit just, so I'm 6'4", and I've got about a centimetre of space, but that's enough. I can't feel it. It might be a bit difficult with a baseball cap on, but you know, not too bad. Big giant mirror up here. Hello. Yeah, all right, well, it's time to get driving, I reckon. Righto, so I've got out of the city and I'm just about to hit the freeway. So far, it's so good. I'm about 50 k's up the freeway. Very nimble car, like really, like it's so light to drive. It doesn't really feel like you're even turning. It's a little flinchy on the accelerator. I don't think that's necessarily the car. I think it's just me adapting to it. You know, I drive around a big Prado 120, so big sluggish vehicle, and this one's like, I just know, whoa, you know, it's just so ready to go. So that's just taking a little bit of adapting to, but yeah, otherwise pretty pleasant drive. My only bummer at the moment is at my height, which won't be the same for you. It's a very human, individual problem, but I've got to have the seat down to a certain level, and that puts this sill up to a point where my arm is just not sitting there comfortably. And you know, I like to drive like this, so a bit poiter. But yeah, so that's a little annoying. But yeah, if you're not 6'4", that's not going to be a problem for you. Otherwise, I was pretty happy with the go it had once you got up to over 100. So once you're on a freeway and I was doing over 100, there was still so much juice in it. Like I was just a little tap of the accelerator and boom, you know, she was still ready to go. So really happy with that. Sound system's good. It's been cranking. So you know, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable in the seat. No aches, no pains. Got really impressive lumbar support. Like you can move it up, down, left, you know, in, out. Good control over that. So this is a little bit reflective. You can see, I don't know if you can come up in the camera, but it's a little bit reflective, the stuff coming off here, which is a little bit of a, yeah, a little bit of a shame, but not unusual. This is nothing silver on the dash, so silver stuff really gets in your eye line when it reflects off the Australian sun. But yeah, climate control's been great. Everything else is going well. Let's keep going. How awesome is this sunroof? All the way back. It's killer.
All-wheel drive version is very much like a lot of other cars that you'll find on the road, except for excluding the design. It's very striking, very different, something that you've never seen before in Australia. But underneath, you've got a 1.6 litre turbocharged petrol engine that makes 137 kilowatts and 275 Newton meters of torque. If that sounds familiar, the engine is shared with the Jaecoo J7 Pro from the Cherry family. Things are also very different under the bonnet here. While the all-wheel drive is powered just by a petrol engine, this has an electric motor as well. The 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol engine produces 105 kilowatts and 215 Newton meters, while the electric motor makes 150 kilowatts and 310 Newton meters of torque. Alone, the electric motor can travel up to 106 kilometers without needing to be recharged, and combined with the petrol engine, it has a total driving range of 1,200 kilometers. The electric motor, again, on a DC fast charger, can be charged between 30 and 80% within 20 minutes, and as long as it's above that 30% mark, it can travel up to 120 kilometers an hour without needing any assistance from the petrol engine. Together, they send power to the front wheels via a single-speed dedicated hybrid transmission. What does that mean? Well, it means that while you're driving this, it is going to be very smooth. There's no jerky gear changes. It's just silky smooth.
So righto, we're about to do some off-roading. Told there's gonna be some rock climbs, some river crossings, bit of mud. It's going over the bumps all right. I felt like some of the speed bumps on the tarmac felt a bit hard, like they went through me a little bit. But now that we're off-road, it's actually feeling pretty good. It's riding them quite well. Oh, this should be fun. So I've just got it set in off-road mode. And the all-wheel drive is rocking. It's handling the mud fine. Not losing any traction. It's going right through it. Righto, so we've come to our first river crossing. I mean, it's nothing epic, but you know, decent test for all-wheel drive. I'm gonna have to use both hands to drive through this safely without getting in trouble. So we'll film this bloke in front of me. And then I'll give it a crack. Look at the ride height is on this. It's looking all right. It's about 20 centimeters deep. Not sure I would have stopped. So it's saying that some two-wheel drive car that's not part of this group went through here just before us and took 10 attempts and shoot it all up. Oh, it looks all right to me. I think you just got to have a consistent accelerate, I think. Oh, nice. There you go. Ate it. All right, my turn. Got to be honest, went through it like a dream. I had no traction loss whatsoever. Just went straight up that muddy hill without problem. Just kept it on, you know, probably just consistent acceleration the whole way up, and it pulled through it, no worries at all. So now I've been driving for a bit longer, I have found that this does get in my way a little bit at my height anyway, at 6'4". So especially when you're trying to look through there when you're coming down a turn like that, you're trying to look into the turn. So at my height, this is a bit of a blockage. There's something to consider anyway. It's not that bad, but it has gotten in my way a little bit. But what's really cool is the driving modes. You've got the modes down here. So you've got some really fun driving modes. You can see sport, we've got snow, mud, sand. I don't know how sand mode works. It's not going to deflate your tyres, right? But anyway, it's super cool. Off-road mode, and then eco, normal, and then back to sport. And one of the things that is a bit weird is that it's got this thing called a distraction warning. And if it'll pop up and say, you've been distracted for a while, focus on the road. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, fair enough. I was kind of like playing with instruments and toggles and just kind of being a little erratic on the road when there's no one around. But other times I've just been driving in a straight line. So it seems to be overly sensitive, and I'm wondering if it's because of my glasses. I'm wondering if the glasses are actually causing something to think that I'm not looking. But anyway, I'll ask him if that can be toggled on and off, because yeah, I'd probably toggle it off, to be honest. Unless I was doing a big highway drive and I needed to be kept awake. So this screen I think is pretty cool. I'm enjoying using it. This screen, not so much. It's a lot of the information is very small. It's very bland. It's not telling me a whole lot. I'd rather just have like 2 digital tacos or something just like that. Yeah, someone's walked past the car and it's gone this. That distraction warning is a real distraction. You can see this has got a Waze app down here as well as the normal map. Okay, new day, new car. So yesterday I drove up the coast in the all-wheel drive version of the Jaecoo J7. And today I'm in the SHS version, which is their top of the range PHEV. So it's got this kind of revolutionary tech that they're talking about, or at least their bespoke version that combines the petrol flexibility with the power of electricity to create about 1,200 kilometers worth of range. So pretty handy here in Australia. And so now that I've jumped in the car, I mean, so much of it's very, very similar. There's only some minor differences on the outside. You've got different rims, you've got different stripe, you've got slightly, well, you've got obviously a plug-in port as well. So a few subtle things, different mirrors, just a little bit more aerodynamic in that regard. So a few little changes like that on the outside, but on the inside there's a little bit more going on. And obviously under the engine's a completely different beast altogether. So I thought as a starting point, I'll just talk through some of the differences I've noticed straight away. And obviously, there's periods when it's very quiet. But anyway, let's jump in and have a, because it's obviously, sometimes it's just running on electric, but let's jump in and have a look at just the dash area. So on the all-wheel drive, you had the push start button here. Here you don't have it. So basically once your seatbelt's on, your doors close, you just hit the brake and the car starts. And that's all that's required. And I guess the key being in the vicinity. There's no gear stick, as you can see. So now it's all on this. So it's a single speed transmission on this one. So you're not going to get those gear changes. It's all just going to be smooth and buttery. And then you're using your stalk to do kind of your park, your drive, your reverse. But that also means that your blinkers, which would normally be over here, they've gone European. So that's interesting. It's obviously a bit of a pain point for most Australians. I mean, you get used to it reasonably quickly, but yeah, so that's just flipped on this one. It's just some little subtle differences in terms of like the way that these operate. The mirror controls are actually used on the steering wheel. So if you push this, I think it's the star button, is it? Yeah, it comes up with the mirrors, and then you control the mirrors through these kind of arrows. So that's interesting, and it saves it. All the cars, by the way, when you first open the door, the seat slides back. That's fantastic for us tall blokes. Over in the dash here, it's got a bifold opening center console, as opposed to kind of the all-wheel drive had the up. Don't know why. There's obviously more space here as well because there's no gear stick, so you've got a storage under there and some ports as well. So if I can get down there and show you. So some charging ports. So you've got more storage at the front as a result of the different engine type here. And yeah, just a little bit different configuration. While we're here, we should talk about the screen a little bit as well. This is really awesome. There's so much control in here, it's nuts. In terms of even if you just do something like the fan, it just pops up and it's got this beautiful visual, and control the fan and how the seats are gonna be heated, and new energy up here, which is interesting. So telling you about kind of the power saving modes and energy recovery and all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through all of it, other than to say that the interface is really, really quite good. I'm quite fond of it. You got your atmosphere lights here, so you can turn these on. Turn those on. You're just not going to be able to see it, but basically the whole way around it glows, and you can change it to any color you want. At the moment it's hooked to music rhythm, so basically it'll hook up with the music sound and turn your car into a bit of a disco, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, vehicle comfort. So yeah, just really cool. Really good screen. And I was complaining a little bit about this when I was driving the all-wheel drive, about how it's very kind of very basic. But you can change this. I haven't worked out how yet, but you can change it so it comes up with a digital tacho and that, which is a much better visual in my mind. So I'll just have to play around and work that out, but I have seen it, so it does do that. So yeah, that's a look at the immediate differences that I've noticed. And now we're going to go drive it back to Sydney and see how the power unfolds. I'll get back to you on that. But otherwise, everything looks really, really nice. Let's talk about the boot quickly. So I think it's not too bad. Can't remember the exact litres. I think it was 400 and something litres of boot space. Look, as you can see, I've just got my bag for the night sitting in there now. There's lots of space around it. You're not going to be fitting a kid's bike in there or anything like that, but it's definitely enough for shopping, beach gear, but not surfboards. So, look, it's not the world's biggest boot, but from what I understand, this is at the very upper reach of kind of the C-class SUVs. So it's as big a boot as you're probably going to find in the class, and it's just deciding whether or not that's right for you. But yeah, so that's what you can expect from the boot space. There's a little 12 volt back here. This is handy though. So you can get a fridge perhaps and charge it. It's a little shame nowadays that most of those are going to actual like 240 volt ports. It's a little shame that they didn't go that far. So one of the things I'm really excited about with the Jaecoo J7 is that I fit in the back. So I'm 6'4" and I'm just about touching, but my head's not touching, but my hair is. So I kind of feel it, but I don't have to do that, which you'll have to do in most cars. So the fact that someone my size is fitting pretty comfortably in the back here is excellent. And check this out. So that's the driver's seat, as you can see, and that is back for a 6'4" driver, and my knees fit. So that's great. So if you're a big family, as in like literally big, there's some serious space here, as well as some charging ports in the back and no screen in the back, which you sometimes see, but I'm just excited that I can fit. And you got a little bit of storage down here next to the Sony speaker, but no specific bottle storage in the door, but we do have some between us there as well. Yeah, so very, very cool. Look at that. Woo! So I've been driving the SHS model for a while now, and yeah, look, it goes just as good as the all-wheel drive, if not better. Super light, super zippy, got plenty of power, got plenty of guts. I've actually got more range on my electricity than I had when I started now. It said 9 kilometers when I got in, because it'd obviously been used all day yesterday by other journos. And now it's saying that I've got 24. So I don't know if it's harvesting in the background. I'm not noticing any harvesting. I'm not noticing that feeling. Yeah, as good as the drive and the experiences and the feeling of it, there's a few things that are really starting to frustrate me. One thing in particular, and it's this distraction warning thing. So they've just got to get rid of it. It doesn't work with I think sunglasses really confuses it. So basically, when you've got sunglasses on, but even now, it's looking. It can't see your eyes. It doesn't know where you're looking, and it just comes up and says, "You're distracted. You're distracted. You're distracted." And then it beeps at you and says, "Focus on the road." You're like, "I bloody well am focusing on the road," and so it's just constantly beeping, and it's really starting to frustrate me. And apparently, you can turn it off, but every time you turn the car off, it turns itself back on. So hopefully, they can firmware update that, because that's just when it's otherwise a great driving experience, that is really starting to irritate me. And I think it's even worse in this version of the car than it was in the all-wheel drive, or maybe it's different ambient light, I don't know. But so there's that. It does seem to be a little bit more aggressive, this car, with the way that the assists help out. Like, I've just noticed a few times it gripped me back into the lane. One time I felt it was trying to brake me because I was over the speed limit, but I wasn't over the speed limit. And that's the other thing I was going to say, is that the speed limits that it's got on the dash here, like are wrong a lot. Not so much on the freeway and the highway, but just when I was driving through the back streets and stuff, it says you're in a 40 zone, but I'm not. I'm in a 60 zone. So then it's going, you're speeding. What are you doing? Slow down. And you're like, so you hear that beep, boom. That's because I just went into a 90 zone at 100. But that's fine. It is a 90 zone, so I'm just slowing down now. But when it's wrong and it's doing that again, is frustrating. So I don't know if that's because it's pre-release version of the car. Sorry, the car isn't actually out in Australia yet. So whether there's a firmware update coming and they just need to update the maps a little bit for the local thing, that could be it. But if that's not the case, if it's looking at the signs and misreading them, then that's a bit of a problem. Those are the things that are kind of starting to annoy me a little bit. It's overall a fantastic driving experience, and I don't want to suggest otherwise. But that's my feedback to the Jaecoo team, is that those elements are affecting an otherwise great experience. But otherwise, the switch over to the SHS engine from the all-wheel drive engine is just seamless. It feels just as good, and it is good. A driving experience. Obviously, it's two-wheel drive though, so it's not as catered as the all-wheel drive for off-road flexibility. It doesn't have the modes of the all-wheel drive either, so there's just eco, normal, and sport. I've got on sport at the moment because that's how I drive. But the all-wheel drive obviously had sand and mud and off-road, all these other additional modes that you could access, which aren't available on this two-wheel drive variant. But geez, I love that. I love those 1200k range. That's fantastic. So anyway, that's some feedback on the SHS driving experience. It's a little bit more hands-on with the AI or computer or whatever. It's a little bit more flinchy in that regard. Ultimately, it's still very pleasant to drive. So there we have it, guys. That's my reasonably exhaustive experience with the cars and my general thoughts. Look, overall, I think it's this particular Jaecoo J7 release is really competitively priced for what it offers. It's a really pleasant drive. There's a few things I really like them to work on, in particular that distraction based safety toggle, because that's just an absolute pain. And a few other little gremlins there in the HUD that hopefully they can fix with firmware updates. But the actual driving experience is almost perfectly on point, outside of potentially the body roll, which I'd like to see a little bit tighter. But otherwise, it's got power to burn, and it's really pleasant driving experience. I was really impressed by the all-wheel drive off-road. So I think that this particular car is going to give people the flexibility, if they want it, to have that kind of mid-size SUV experience that's really great in an urban environment, but has the capability and power to perform in some reasonably decent off-road conditions as well, allowing you to go camping if you're a reasonably small family. Doesn't really have the boot space to be able to offer like broader, bigger trip experiences, or if you're a family that likes, for example, surfing and things like that, you might find it a little bit compromised in the back there. So that's something to consider. But I think for most general families, it's going to be fine. And I think this variant here, which has that incredible range, is a great commuter car. I've been really impressed by the Jaecoo J7, and I think it's definitely worth considering, especially at that very attractive price point. Anyway, I'm Stead. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll check you later.